Hey, it's Anna. Welcome back to Tradition Cafe. So happy you're here because in this episode, my special guest and friend Mike Strain shares insights into his British and Irish heritage, inviting us to explore his family's unique culture and traditions. We'll discuss quirky English dishes such as Bubble and Squeak and Bangers and Mash, his upbringing in the Jehovah's Witness faith, English politics, and more. Mike also talks about his journey to the USA and his experiences in vibrant cities like Atlanta, Georgia, and Alameda, California. Woohoo! Let's hit it, Mikey.
Oh, don't make you nervous.
Oh, you make me so nervous.
Celebrity guest in the house.
Yes. Welcome.
Thank you.
Please state your name.
My name is Michael Strain.
What's your middle name? Never asked you this. Do you have one?
I don't have one, no.
Neither does my older sister.
Oh.
So, a little bit like Cher. Just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Do you believe in life after no middle names? No, we'll have to work on that. We'll have to work on that gag.
We'll have to work on that.
Yeah.
So, welcome to Tradition Cafe. Thank you so much for coming and willing to chat with me.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
So clearly you have an accent.
What? Do I? Mum, I've got an accent. Yes, I do. Yeah.
Where were you born?
I was born in East London. I won't tell you how long ago, but it was a while back. I was born in East London. My mum's English, my dad's Irish.
Okay.
So I consider myself both. So much so that I am a citizen of both the UK and of Ireland.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And United States now.
And now the United States. Yeah, I was going around collecting passports.
Yeah.
I like to say I'm like Jason Bourne without the money or talent.
Or skills.
Or skills.
Fighting skills.
Definitely have the terrible memory, though. That is intact. Yeah. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
But you were born in Waltham Forest? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, so it's Walthamstow. So it's kind of pronounced a bit weird. So London is split up into various boroughs. Mm-hmm. So I was born in what's known as the London Borough of Waltham Forest. Oh,
okay.
I was actually born in the same hospital that David Beckham was born in.
Well, fancy you.
I know. So
you must look good in a suit too.
I do. Mm-hmm. I actually do. Thank you. Yeah.
Good. I had no doubt. But you were born there. How long did you live there?
So I only lived there about 4 years because very inconsiderately, when I was 4, if you could do the math, dear listener.
But you didn't tell them how long ago you were born, so.
Well, if I lived there 4 years and I was born there, then I only lived there 4 years.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I am bad at math.
Okay. Sorry, we'll gloss over that. No, my parents had twins.
Oh.
So our little 2-bedroom London flat wasn't big enough. So we moved to a town about 60 miles outside of 60 miles outside of London. I can't talk today, apparently.
Wakey.
Yeah, thank you. Just chug some more coffee.
We have coffee at Tradition Cafe.
We do.
Oddly enough.
It is a great cafe.
Sometimes it'll be just like a beer swigging fest.
Yeah, that's fine.
Different kind of cafe.
That's fine. That's coming right up after this. My inability to talk is not unique to this situation, though. Sometimes my brain just switches off for a second, reboots.
I think I've noticed that. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, good one, yeah. Yeah, so my parents had twins, so we moved to it was essentially built as a commuter town to London, right? It's like on the main railway line between London and Birmingham. And that town is called Milton Keynes, and that's where I actually grew up.
Oh, okay.
From, again, aged 4 upwards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And oh, wait.
Yeah.
Are you one of the twins? Or are they older than you?
They're younger than me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because my parents had them when I was 4, which is why we moved. So
I'm just
if I were one
with
of the
it
twins,
this morning, right?
you were so on it.
Well, but I thought that
I
you
was
said,
tired.
yeah, but I thought you said my parents had twins, and I thought that maybe you were one of the twins.
No. So when I was 4, my parents had twins.
Let's go through it again.
I was not one of the twins because I was
see.
already 4. You see how that works?
Yes. We will be editing this.
Yeah, let's.
Let's.
Hey, I don't care. I sound brilliant. So
Right. I know.
I'm happy.
I have to catch up.
I'm happy. Do you want my coffee too? It's like
Maybe. So you said your dad is from Northern Ireland. What town?
So my dad's from a little town called Banbridge, which is about 30 minutes outside of Belfast. My auntie still lives out that way. Not in Banbridge. They live in a town called Lurgan. But yeah, beautiful part of the world.
In 1921, Ireland was divided into 2 distinct countries, Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, as established by the Government of Ireland Act of 1920. The Republic of Ireland is a sovereign state with a population of approximately 5 million and is part of the European Union. Its capital, Dublin, is a vibrant hub of culture and activity. Northern Ireland, with a population of about 1.9 million, is an integral part of the United Kingdom, with Belfast serving as its capital. Did you spend much time there?
Not a huge amount as a child, because obviously as a kid, plus the twins, of which I'm not one.
Oh, what? Really?
Plus the youngest sister. Like there's
there's 4 of you.
There's 5 of us total, because
Oh.
I have an older sister as well. So I have 4 sisters total.
Gotcha.
Yeah, which is why I moved 3,000 miles away to the United States.
Yeah. We'll get to that in a minute.
We'll get to that. No, please don't remind me. Yeah, no. So as a youngster, it was tough for our parents to cart all of us around.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to go over and visit very often.
No?
But certainly as an adult, I tried to go back more. So whenever I went through a period where whenever I would travel back home from the States, I would try and make a stop off in Ireland in one of the directions to see my aunt.
Okay.
My grandma, for a while before she passed away, lived with my aunt, so I'd pop in and see them both.
How far back does your heritage go there in Northern Ireland?
Pretty far.
Yeah.
Although I haven't looked into it, but my dad's dad and his dad all, as far as I know, hail from Northern Ireland. Although the last name Strain comes from a long back Scottish name, so it's actually evolved from Strachan,
Okay.
and then I guess that became through the Irish lineage Strain.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Isn't it interesting how they do that? I wonder
Yeah.
why.
Well, the Celts, the Celtic nations, Scotland, Ireland, are all, there's a lot of shared heritage there, I think,
Okay.
So
Yeah, it makes sense. Scotland and Ireland, both celebrated Celtic nations, share a rich history and culture rooted in ancient Celtic tribes. They exhibit similarities in language, art, and traditions. Traditional music and dance thrive in lively festivals, showcasing performances with instruments like the fiddle and bagpipes. This vibrant blend of music and dance highlights the essence of Celtic culture, creating a sense of unity and celebration in both countries.
Much like the Scots are known for all their clans have their own tartan.
Right.
So in Ireland, all the counties have their own tartan. And in fact, my dad's mum, my grandma, was from Scotland. So there's a little bit of Scottish heritage in there as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what your tartan looks like?
Yes, my dad actually, he officiated his brother's wedding a few years back. And he got a tie with the with the County Antrim tartan. I think it's County Antrim. I'll have to look this up. If you're listening, fam, I'm really sorry if I'm getting all this horrifically wrong. I haven't looked it up in a long time. But yeah, so he wore the tartan tie.
Oh, neat. Kilts are more than just garments. They are rich with tradition and are proudly worn by many people of Irish and Scottish descent. While Irish and Scottish kilts have similar tapered designs and pleats, they have distinct meanings and styles. Understanding these differences can enhance your appreciation for both cultures and their rich histories. A Scottish kilt is a traditional garment deeply rooted in Highland culture, carrying significant historical meaning. Each kilt is linked to a specific clan or region, symbolizing ancestry and identity. Typically worn at formal events and Highland games, kilts represent national pride and are often accompanied by accessories such as a sporran. Not every Scottish surname has an associated tartan. Tartans are tied explicitly to Scottish clans and their related families, some lowland families, and geographical districts. The Scottish kilt, known as the Great Kilt or filet mort, dates back to the 16th century. It was made from wool and served as clothing and blankets before evolving into the shorter style we see today. Tartan patterns are a key feature of Scottish kilts, with unique designs that carry specific meanings, all officially registered with the Scottish Register of Tartans. Traditionally, Scottish kilts are knee-length with pronounced pleats, showcasing the heritage of the Highlands. They embody regional identities and clan unity, reflecting the diversity and strength of Scotland's cultural traditions over time. In contrast, an Irish kilt is traditional clothing that highlights Irish culture. Unlike Scottish kilts, which often feature tartan, Irish kilts predominantly consist of solid colors, with saffron yellow being a popular choice. These kilts are typically seen at cultural events like St. Patrick's Day, weddings, and pipe band performances. While some modern Irish kilts incorporate tartan patterns, these usually represent specific counties rather than family clans. Irish kilts began to emerge in the late 1800s and early 1900s as a way to express Irish pride and nationalism. Unlike their Scottish counterparts, Irish kilts are more focused on local identity. Generally, Irish kilts are shorter and have a more relaxed fit, usually falling just above the knee to allow for more effortless movement. The pleats are typically less pronounced, giving them a sleek appearance. Overall, Irish kilts celebrate local heritage and pride, reflecting the Ireland's rich and diverse culture. When exploring the differences between Irish and Scottish kilts, you can uncover both cultures' unique characteristics and histories. While they share similarities, the craftsmanship, tartan patterns, lengths, and accessories carry their own distinctive qualities. Both types of kilts celebrate cultural heritage, weaving rich stories through every stitch. Ultimately, they serve as powerful expressions of cultural pride that resonate deeply with people today. I think you should get a kilt.
Oh, do you? Right.
Yes.
Okay.
The top half a suit
And the bottom half
and the
a kilt.
bottom half a kilt.
I don't know. It sure gets a bit windy around here sometimes. I can't be Marilyn Monroeing all over Alameda.
Wah, wah.
I'll take it under advisement.
Okay.
Maybe get a petition going. We'll see how many signatures I get.
Ooh, I'm going to start a poll on my Facebook. Should Mike wear a kilt or not?
All right. Done.
Let's do it.
Okay. We'll have to figure out. Oh, is it just going to be a simple yes, no? And yes, no poll?
Yes.
And most. Okay, great.
Yes.
Excellent. How many times can I vote no?
You don't get to vote.
Why do I not get to vote?
Fine, you can vote, but you can only vote once.
Okay, thanks.
I'll try to make it.
I'll probably end up voting yes. I feel like actually that does sound like it would be kind of a cool idea.
Buy you enough shots and maybe you'll don it, do a cartwheel or two.
Oh dear, okay. Well, that's a whole different poll. Should Mike do a cartwheel in his kilt? Yeah.
That's a whole different poll.
That's a whole different poll. Yeah.
So your mom, was she born and raised in London?
No, so mum was born in I think a little town called Chadwell St Mary in Essex.
Say that again?
Chadwell, I think it's called Chadwell St Mary,
Okay.
and it's in a county called Essex. So it's in the south of
Okay.
London, in the south of England, near London. Parts of London are in Essex, I think. You're really testing my memory of British geography now.
That is why you're here.
Yeah, I should have bought my maps. You know, my vast collection of maps that I just have laying around in case I want to get some
maritime
light cartography in the mornings. All right, throw me some coordinates, lads. What are we studying today? Yeah, so, but her dad was in the army,
Okay.
and my dad was also in the army, which is actually how my parents met.
So they met in London?
No, actually, they met on the Mediterranean island of Cyprus.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because back in the day, Cyprus is still contested territory, so both the Greeks and the Turkish lay claim to Cyprus. In fact, they share it. They both want all of it, but they share it. So back in the day, it was a fairly volatile because the Turks wanted it all. And so the British army had a presence there to basically protect the Greek side from the Turks trying to take it over.
Gotcha.
So my mum's dad was stationed over there in a different regiment than my dad was in. But Cyprus is a kind of a small island.
Yeah.
And they would have these like entertainment cabaret nights almost, so where they'd have like music and dances and stuff.
Nice.
And my mum was a dancer in one of the dance troupes, and my dad was a drummer.
Oh my gosh.
And they ended up playing at these same venues, and that's how they met.
That's where your love of music came in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
She was a dancer, or she was a singer too?
She
Because
was
you're a good singer.
She was. Oh, thanks. If you give me one of the only 3 songs I can sing, then yes.
We've done
That's very
karaoke
kind.
together.
We have done karaoke together. Yeah.
And you owe me a song, by the way.
I do owe
Remember?
you a song, that's true. I like to play down the singing part because I like to keep people's expectations low. You know, that's...
Right.
If you keep people's expectations low, then...
They're always going to be surprised and
Exactly.
impressed.
Yeah, hopefully. And if not, then you said their expectations low, so I guess.
So they met in Cyprus.
They met in Cyprus, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
did they just both discover, obviously, that they're both from London or the UK, I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, I imagine through conversing, I wasn't there,
Yeah.
but
No?
I imagine that they would have had their "Where are you from?" conversation.
Right.
Yeah, and then I don't know the timing of when they each ended up going back to the UK or whatever, but they did end up going back, and
So then did they settle right away in, the hell was it called?
Waltham
Forest?
When they came back, they weren't, because Dad was still in the army, and so they lived in a few different places, but then they were stationed at a joint US UK army base in Belgium.
Oh, I've been there. Love it.
What, Belgium?
Yeah.
The army base?
Yes.
Yeah?
No. No,
I thought you were
Belgium.
going to say, I've been to the army base. I love it. Yeah. I get up in the morning and look at maps. You get up and dream of going to army bases around
I
the
do.
world.
I do,
Yeah.
actually.
So, all right. First me in a kilt. Now whistling at the army lads. Goodness. And then that's when the Jehovah's Witnesses came knocking, and my dad became a Jehovah's Witness and left the army and moved to London.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you grow up Jehovah's Witness?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still
I'm not
practice?
I'm not practicing Jehovah's Witness. I haven't been for half my life now, actually. I
Yeah.
stayed in until I was about 20. And then, sorry, listener, I'm a little bit congested. Yeah, and I just realized it just wasn't. It wasn't for me. I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's the crux of it, really.
Yeah, so you grew up not celebrating holidays or birthdays
Correct.
and all that. Yeah. So,
Yeah. In fact, I think my first birthday I celebrated was my 21st birthday.
oh, well, you have to
Which,
celebrate that.
you know, start with a bang.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So no birthdays or Christmas or Halloween or any of that growing up.
Was your mom Jehovah's Witness too? Or
Yeah,
did she,
yeah. So Dad was the one who was initially interested,
Okay.
and started studying the Bible, and and then eventually kind of Mum took an interest too, and they,
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
she was after that. Okay.
yeah.
So what kind of, because I don't know much about Jehovah's Witness, what kind of traditions did they have? I mean, since they didn't have like holiday traditions or you didn't have, all that kind of stuff, was there regular traditions that you guys would follow or, practice?
Are you talking like in terms of like a holiday or a celebration type
celebration, anything, yeah.
thing? So nothing that was directly tied to being a Jehovah's Witness. There weren't alternative Jehovah's Witness holidays that we would celebrate. The only major event that witnesses would commemorate would be like the death of Jesus.
Right.
So, which falls around Easter time.
Right.
But that would be a very like solemn affair. It would be like, there would be like an extra sermon, I guess would be the equivalent name in a church, where they talk about why Christ died for us and all that kind of stuff. But there's no real kind of celebration or parties or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, that stands to reason. If you don't celebrate your own birthday or anything like that, then...
My parents were great, though. Like, they would whenever possible, they would surprise us with what they'd call present days. So we were
just random?
Just random,
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's a great tradition.
Yeah, so my parents, like, they obviously... It's because it's hard, right? You've got 5 kids, and they're all going to school and seeing their friends have their birthday parties and celebrate Christmas and do all this stuff. And as a kid, it's hard to understand why you can't do that, right? So my parents were really great in making sure that we didn't feel left out in terms of being able to celebrate things. And so they would be like family days. So...
They just spring it on you?
They would, yeah.
So great.
It's like they would spring it on us, and then so like we'd get home from school or whatever, and there would be gifts on the table, and then like the living room would be like laid out like with the picnic blankets and stuff, and so we'd have unwrapped gifts, and then have like a picnic and watch a movie and stuff like that.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so
creating your own tradition.
Yeah.
That's
so
really,
that was really cool. Yeah.
That's a great way to bring a family together. Because I have often wondered how Jehovah's Witness get to do. Look, I grew up Catholic, went to Catholic school and everything, and there's just so many things you celebrate in Catholicism. Birth of Jesus, Epiphany, Palm Sunday.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's like you have to have your own calendar just to keep up with all the events. At least mine was
advent calendar.
Oh yeah. Literally.
Yeah. But yeah, that's great. I had often wondered how families were able to come together in Jehovah's Witness and
yeah, that's what we did. And like we would have like congregation get-togethers too. So just like social events.
Sense.
Yeah. So we would like go to a park, or like one of the brothers or sisters might host like a barbecue and invite some other witnesses from the congregation. So like it wasn't like a kind of like sackcloth and ashes and all very like very must be very serious,
Right.
etc. Like we're not monks, you know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we had fun.
Yeah. A lot of people have that misconception about Jehovah's Witness, and
Yeah.
that it's all very solemn, and
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you can't celebrate something, air quotes.
Yeah.
You can't celebrate certain things that you guys have no fun.
Yes, that's
Yeah. It's a
yes,
common
that is a
misconception.
popular misconception. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So you just left because you left the church? You say church, right? I'm
I
really
say-
ignorant to Jehovah's Witness stuff.
I left the. I refer to my time as a Jehovah's Witness. I try and use church related terms,
Okay.
even though that's not what we call it. So,
Okay. Well, tell me what you call it.
or the congregation.
Congregation,
I
okay.
left the congregation, the faith. However you want to, however you might want to describe it. Yeah, I left. I wasn't.
You weren't buying it?
Yeah, well, I wasn't buying it. Yeah, and I say this obviously with the utmost love and respect for, you know, those who do have a faith.
Right.
Like, I fully support people believing what they believe,
Right.
but I also don't believe what, you know, I was raised to believe, and kind of sounds weird to say it like that, but that's just.
Is that the first time you've
just
tried
the
to explain
truth.
it?
It's not something I talk about a huge amount, and certainly not in any great depth.
Yeah.
But yeah, just for me, there were just things that, like, I just started to question, and that didn't make sense to me, and it was, and usually, like, if you have questions about your faith, right, then you'll go to an elder, right, in
Right.
the congregation. You'll be like, "Yo, I'm struggling with this." Probably wouldn't put it like that. "Hey, yo, I'm struggling with this, bruv."
Bruh.
But like you would, you know, seek guidance and help. I think my problem is that I didn't. I think I just didn't have, like, my faith had already started to disappear to the extent that when I did have more and more questions come up, I didn't like it didn't matter enough for me to then try and seek out an answer. Like I already felt like there's no real way that this can be explained to me in a way that I'm gonna feel okay with.
Sure.
And I think since I left the faith, like there's more and more, the more time I've spent away from it, the more I know I did the right thing for me.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it makes less religion to me. And again, I say this without respect for anyone who is religious. It doesn't make sense to me, given the world we live in and what we see and all this kind of stuff. And I don't want to get into a whole theological discussion.
No.
But essentially, I was just like, this doesn't mesh with my actual belief system.
Are you atheist then?
Yeah.
Or you don't have a...
You know, that's a good question. So I think I would consider myself now an atheist, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a period of time where I did believe in God. And then there was a period of time where I was like, oh, maybe I'm agnostic, maybe I'm not sure. But yeah, I think I would consider myself an atheist at this point.
How did your parents feel about you leaving the faith?
They were very disappointed and very upset.
Yeah.
Quite understandably so, because it's a big deal for them, right? Because, like, it's a life or death thing. Because witnesses truly believe that Armageddon is going to come at some point, right? And anyone who's not a witness isn't going to make it. Like, long story short, right?
Right.
So by me saying I don't believe this, I don't want to be a Jehovah's Witness anymore, then to them that means at some point, if Armageddon comes during our lifetime, then I'm a goner, right?
Yeah. Oh wow.
Which is a very simplistic way of putting it, and
But they're very devout, so they truly.
yeah, so that's what they believe.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are many other nuanced feelings surrounding it.
Sure.
I think there's probably an element of feeling ashamed, right, within the congregation. Like, it's not my parents' fault in
Right.
any way, shape, or form, but there are always judgy people, and they're like, "Oh, your son left the faith," that kind of thing. So there would have been some of that, which I felt obviously really bad about. But ultimately, my parents have been fantastic. Like,
That's good.
they don't treat me any differently. They don't like hold it against me. They're
That's good.
like, and they especially don't try and preach at me.
Oh, that's nice.
Which
Did you
is-
have to have a conversation with them about that, or
No, actually,
that was
I
just
didn't.
automatic?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
like
good.
so. My dad is really good because he's an elder in the congregation,
Okay.
and he is very well versed in scripture, and everything that he does in life revolves around his faith, right? So he will, in any circumstance that he's in, he will try and relate that to like a Bible passage to kind of help guide him through, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But he doesn't. He very rarely will like drop a Bible verse at me, because he knows that I'm not. I don't.
It won't land.
It won't land. Like
Yeah.
he has to kind of fight his instincts, because he doesn't want to like upset me, even though he wouldn't. But like,
Right.
just being supportive and considerate in that way, I think has been really great.
That is great, considering he's an elder.
Yeah,
Yeah, and now I get it. That there's probably a lot loaded people saying things to him like, "Oh, your son left the church." And
yeah. I mean, I imagine when I first left.
was that when you were 21?
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And like, me, I'm pretty likable, right? Like,
No.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks. And I didn't really, so, and I wasn't really, as far as I recall, I wasn't openly miserable and walking around trying to be a bad apple at the Kingdom Hall, right?
Right.
So as far as anyone knew, I was perfectly happy, and so I think there was an element of surprise within the congregation when I just suddenly stopped going, and then my parents had to be, yeah, Michael's he's gone, he's out,
Yeah.
he's donezo.
It was a huge decision for you.
Massive decision. 'Cause
Did
then,
it create a rift with your family for a bit, or it was smooth going pretty fast?
I think it was a little bit. I think rift isn't quite the right word.
Too strong.
It was definitely, yeah. It was definitely, there were definitely some difficulties, I think, just because it was so difficult for them to, I think, accept that I was doing that. I also took it as an opportunity to move out of the house,
Not.
like, because I was still
To-
living with my parents. So we were.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah. So,
a sense of tension.
huh?
Was it tension? A little bit, maybe.
There
in
was
the beginning.
there was definitely some tension when
Yeah.
I told them. My dad especially was very upset.
It's like coming out of the closet.
Yeah, I
In a
mean,
sense.
in a sense, yeah.
Yeah, this is the authentic me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it took them a while to accept it and to be like, oh, actually, this is real. Like, Mike's actually doing this, and I think the moving out of the house as well was a kind of, it made it even more difficult because it was a symbolic of leaving, like just gone. So it's like two huge things in one.
Yeah.
But I just felt that it wouldn't be fair on my parents for me to be like, oh, I'm not going to be a Jehovah's Witness anymore, but I'm still going to live in your house. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Yeah, so I moved in with a friend, and
In London?
this was all still in Milton Keynes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever live in London?
Not as an adult, no.
No.
No. But when people ask where I'm from, I say London because it's easy to say, oh, I'm from San Francisco.
Plus, Milton Keynes is only like 50 miles
It's
northwest.
only 50, yeah.
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 So, speaking of Jehovah's Witness, not now that you mentioned Jehovah, no. So, I mean, your parents are the ones who chose the religion. It's not like they grew up that way. So, do you know? Did it create any kind of strangeness between like your grandma or
Yeah.
Like was your family your heritage Protestant? It's pretty big.
So no, so my dad was actually raised Roman Catholic.
Oh yeah, Ireland.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, that created a rift for a while with his family. Like my dad was not very close with his family for many years, and then,
Which is probably why he was so like understanding, or maybe not understanding, but had a better transition when you left.
yeah,
Jehovah's
perhaps,
Witness.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thankfully, my dad, like there was a lot of reconciliation that went on later in life. So he was able to have a good relationship with his dad for a good while before his dad passed away. Same with his mum. Reconnected with all his siblings.
That's good.
And formed a really close bond with his sister Patsy, my auntie who still lives in Ireland. Mm-hmm. So that's great. And on my mum's side...
So wait, you didn't grow up having like a lot of cousins around and stuff like that because of that rift, or just nobody else was Jehovah's Witness. So
yeah, I didn't see a lot of my dad's side of the family growing up.
right.
On my mum's side, we were a lot closer with my mum's parents and that side of the family in my youth. Mm-hmm. So growing up, I would see some of my cousins on my mum's side, but none of us really lived that close to each other. So what you've got to remember is distance in the UK is considered looked at very differently than distance here,
Yeah,
right?
I'm sure.
So like, we'll think nothing of like jumping in the car for 4 hours, go down to San Luis Obispo for the weekend,
Right.
Right? Go to Pismo Beach, whatever,
Right.
and drive back the next day. Like, if someone lives more than 30 minutes away in the UK, that's far.
It's huge.
It's huge.
It's like pack a lunch.
It's like no, I'm not. You live half an hour away. I'll see you once a year, mate, kind of thing. And so, all of my cousins were a couple of hours away. Mm-hmm. So we didn't really see them. We'd only ever see them if we had like family events, like we did a couple of anniversary parties for my grandparents, and family weddings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is mostly when I would see my cousins, but we would have good. I do remember having fun barbecues as a kid.
Yeah.
The Brits love a good barbecue.
Really?
Oh yeah, and
You know what? You never hear of that.
like grilling out. Yeah, because you just think it's miserable and raining. And,
Well,
we will still barbecue in the rain with an umbrella if we need to, but we love a good proper like sausages and chops and burgers on the barbecue.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Is that ignorant of me, or do people just not talk about that?
People just don't talk
because
about
people always are saying how terrible the British food is, and
Yeah, they're morons. They're wrong. British food's great.
yeah,
British food's excellent. I mean, there's a lot of brown and grey food in Britain. So, I mean, I can see.
Yeah.
And people think that baked beans with their breakfast is weird, but if you haven't had it, try it and then come at me if you still don't like that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's frijoles, and when you get like a Mexican breakfast, there's oftentimes a lot.
Yeah, I think it's perfectly normal.
Yeah.
But Americans are like, oh, baked beans with your breakfast? I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That sounds good.
I know,
fucking
right?
love baked beans.
Yeah, I could go for a proper fry-up right now. Or sausage, bacon.
What's Bubbles and Squeak?
Bubble and Squeak. Great question. So Bubble and Squeak, it's traditionally cabbage and mashed potato. But basically what it is...
Really?
Yeah. But basically Bubble and Squeak is, you know when you make too much mashed potato? Mm-hmm. Well, the next day, you throw in whatever leftover veggies you got and make little potato cakes and you fry them. So the Bubble and Squeak is like a potato cake that
Where
you
the hell
make
did it
in a
get that
saucing
name?
pan. Because as you're cooking it, like
It bubbles and
it
squeaks?
bubbles and squeaks a little bit. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, because
So
as the
great.
air releases, yeah.
So it's mainly just like a potato thing. What's the meat? Is there?
Oh no, well you don't put meat in it usually.
Okay.
It's just again because it comes from, I believe, because like it's like a poor person's food, right? So because you potatoes and
Right.
root vegetables and cabbages, like like ground veggies. So yeah, like leftover cabbage and mashed potatoes in a little potato cake, and you just fry in the frying pan, and the oil is spitting and bubbling, and so that's where it comes from. So bubble and squeak.
So then, what about bangers and mash?
Bangers, well, that's sausages and
That's what I
mashed
thought.
potatoes.
Yeah.
And they're called bangers because as they cook, the skin would split and make a big bang. Yeah,
It's all about auditory sensations.
it is. Yeah. Also, bubble and squeak is Cockney rhyming slang for something that I can't remember now. But
So it's singular, bubble and squeak,
bubble,
not bubbles.
bubble and squeak. Yeah, yeah. Bubble and squeak.
What other dishes can you think of that? Do you really love? I know that you like bubble and squeak, but what about bangers and mash?
I do
Is
like
there something else?
No, bangers and mash is great, especially if you get it with a good like red wine and mushroom gravy.
Ooh.
Yeah, and the British sausages, like we have regional sausages too. So
Okay.
there's
There's blood sausage, right?
well, there's blood sausage. That's a whole different thing. That's not a bangers and mash sausage. That's a breakfast sausage. That's black pudding.
Okay.
Black pudding and blood sausage.
Right.
I like the same kind of thing. But like a proper banger, you've got you've just got your traditional pork bangers.
Good old proper bang.
Yeah, proper bang. Be banging. Yeah,
Proper bang.
proper bang. I do like a good Lincolnshire sausage or a Cumberland sausage.
And are those the names of areas?
Yes. Yeah, Lincolnshire is a county. As I might have mentioned earlier, Britain is basically made up of counties. So it's like it's like if you take the state of California, right, and
Right.
like on a
Alameda
map,
County,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, UK is very much like that, and then London is broken up into boroughs.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, bangers and mash. I love a good roast dinner.
Oh, what?
Good roast dinner.
Yeah.
Roast dinner, yeah. Yorkshire puddings.
What is Yorkshire pudding?
Yorkshire pudding is... So it's called pudding, but it's not pudding. It's
Right.
It's not dessert. And it's not like a viscose sweet thing that you eat like you consider pudding to be.
Right. Because you guys use the word pudding for any dessert, right? Or
Yeah. Yes,
yeah.
pudding is any
and ours
any
is
dessert.
like very specific thing.
Yes. But also pudding is called pudding because it's like in the shape of like
A pudding.
pudding. Yeah. yeah.
It's in the shape of pudding. It's a blob.
It's no. It's that's what we would call a pudding. It's like savory pudding. This isn't helping, is it? This description.
Not so much.
It's basically
Like bread pudding. Because bread pudding,
bread pudding is a dessert.
right?
No, it's not like that either.
But it's
it's
because
basically
what you're talking about is savory.
It's like yes, savory.
Okay.
It's basically it's batter. Oh, okay. Have you ever had beef Wellington?
I think so.
Beef Wellington. Well, maybe that's a bad example because the beef. Have you ever had toad in the hole? No, you've never had toad in the hole either. That's Yorkshire pudding. It's really hard to describe. It's basically it's
Is it congealed?
No. It's you bake it.
Okay.
It's a baked thing. So you make batter, right?
Okay. Right.
Like
a pancake batter?
Like a pancake batter, but not sweet.
Okay.
And then you get a muffin tin,
Mm-hmm.
and you put a little bit of oil in each hole,
Pocket.
pocket, whatever, and you get the oil really hot, and then you pour the batter in and shove it in the oven, and basically what happens is the batter just
Oh, it's like a popover. Or
it like
pop,
rises
yeah.
and becomes this kind of just this weird savory,
Oh, that sounds
crispy,
fantastic.
delicious, like bowly thing mass of deliciousness.
Nice.
It's really hard to describe. I don't know why it's so hard for me to describe Yorkshire pudding.
Well, maybe part 2 you can make one, and we'll film it.
Oh God, yeah. So it's really hard to.
Oh, okay.
It's really difficult because you have to get the temperature just right because they'll rise up, but if you get the temperature wrong, as soon as you open the oven door, they'll collapse in.
Oh, like a souffle.
Yeah. But
Okay.
different
consistency.
different consistency and texture.
Okay. Well, I feel challenged here.
I'll have to. You know what? I can ask my mum for a recipe.
Do that.
In fact,
and then,
she might have one.
Yeah, do that, and then I will post it on the website, traditioncafe.com.
Okay.
So let's unravel this Yorkshire pudding thing. The first published recipe was an early version of what we now call Yorkshire pudding, appeared in a manuscript-like guidebook to teach English women about their roles. Published anonymously in 1737, it was called The Whole Duty of a Woman, or an infallible guide to the fair sex, containing rules, directions, and observations for their conduct and behavior through all ages and circumstances of life as virgins, wives, or widows. Give me a break, right? That's a terrible... Well, you know, it was 1737. Whatever. Anyway, it included various recipes, one of which was for dripping pudding, designed to accompany and cook with meat. A decade later, in 1747, English cooking writer Hannah Glass published The Art of Cookery Made Plain and Easy. Glass, who was born in Yorkshire and was one of the most prominent food writers of her time, included her own recipe for dripping pudding, which she titled Yorkshire Pudding. Her book sold well across the country, and Yorkshire pudding became a staple dish in many British households, especially in the northern shires. In her book, she writes, "Take a quart of milk, 4 eggs, and a little salt, and make it into a thick batter with flour like a pancake batter. You must have a good piece of meat at the fire. Take a stew pan and put some dripping in it. Set it on the fire. When it boils, pour in your pudding. Let it bake on the fire till you think it is high enough. Set your stew pan on a downturned pan under your meat, and let the dripping drop on the pudding and the heat of the fire come to it to make it of a fine brown." Yum! Since dripping pudding was the original name for Yorkshire pudding, its purpose is evident. The batter was intended to capture the hot drippings, or fat, from the meat rather than letting it go to waste while cooking. Given that meat was expensive in the 18th century, households needed to ensure that no part was wasted. This fat contributed to rich flavors and essential calories, particularly for the men that worked in manual labor. Traditionally, Yorkshire pudding was not served alongside the roasted meat. Instead, it was offered before the main meal as an appetizer, cut into smaller portions and generously doused with gravy. The idea was to fill diners up with pudding so they would be more satisfied with similar servings of the pricier meat. Although Yorkshire pudding can be made with any roasting meat, the English of the 18th century had a particular fondness for roast beef. Therefore, by the 19th century, roast beef and Yorkshire pudding had become a quintessential British meal throughout many households in England. Yum. I'm going to try to get a recipe for Mike's mother's Yorkshire pudding. And we'll see how that goes. I'll put it on the website, traditioncafe.com. Check it out.
Also, kind of when I go back to the UK, I just want to go out and eat all the British foods. So I just want to eat, I want to eat as many roast dinners and full English breakfasts and kebabs. Well, it's not really British.
You know what, though? The best Indian food I've ever had in my life was in London.
Yeah, and Indian food too.
I couldn't believe how great it was.
Yeah. Yeah, I always go for a curry when I go back to the UK because you just can't find the same thing here. Yeah.
Maybe on the East Coast. I don't know.
Nah.
No.
Nah. It's not the same. It's just not the same. Just not the same. And that's no offense to here, but it's just different, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's like when I lived in Portland and tried to find Chinese food. Ugh. Because it's so good here, it's so authentic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so how far back does your mom's heritage go in that area? Did we already talk about this? No, we talked about Ireland.
I think we talked about Dad.
Do you have any royal blood? Do people always ask you that?
Gosh, I hope not.
I was going to ask you how you feel about the royals.
Yeah.
Because these are the dumb questions that people always ask.
No, that's fine. There's as far as my mum's lineage goes back, I don't know. I know I should have come better prepared.
No.
Yeah, family history wasn't something we sat around and talked about a lot of. I think as a kid, you just don't really care that much.
No.
And as an adult, I haven't really thought to ask too much. Yeah, my mum's family, as far as I know, have been in the south of England for a long, long time.
Way back, yeah.
Yeah.
So how did they feel about you moving to the United States, and when did you do that?
I moved to the United States in 2010.
But did you come by way of Canada, or just straight to the United States? I forgot.
Straight to the United States.
Yeah. Okay.
My mum especially was very upset that I was leaving. Not angry upset. Sad. Just very sad that I was leaving.
What was your decision for that?
Oh, I came over to get married.
Oh.
90 Day Fiancé over here.
9 day?
90. You know there's a show 90 Day Fiancé?
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's like a Netflix thing or something, like a dating game type situation.
It's like a reality show about these unique, interesting couples and it's called, the reason it's called 90 Day Fiancé is because the type of visa you get once you enter the United States, you have 90 days to get legally married and then file the paperwork. Oh. So I came over on a fiancé visa, so I had 90 days for us. We had 90 days to legally get married and submit all the paperwork and stuff.
She American? I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
But
she's American.
Born and raised?
Born and raised, yeah. Yeah. So she's from the Bay Area. Mm-hmm.
So you came straight to the Bay Area? No,
I went to Atlanta, Georgia. Go Braves.
I think you and I have talked about this because of the hat you're wearing.
Yeah. I almost always have a Braves hat glued to my head. But yeah, when I moved over, she had graduated from Cal and had gone back to Atlanta to see her mom, because her mom and dad were divorced and had remarried separately, and so her mom was living in Atlanta. So when I moved over, I moved to Atlanta, and then I was there a little over 2 years, maybe 3, maybe 3. Yeah, but 3 years, I think. And then Simona's, my ex-wife's name, decided that she wanted to move back to California, and so I moved out with her to the Bay.
Oh, okay.
And here I am.
So you actually did get married?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did get married, yeah.
Because you just recently became a citizen.
Yeah, I just became a citizen October
It's like a year
2023. Yeah, October 2023, I became an American citizen. Yeah.
Really? We've known each other that long? Because I remember when it happened. I thought it was like last year.
Well,
Interesting.
it's only just January, so it's just over a year ago, technically.
Yeah, well, there you go.
But yeah.
I'm already in it to win it with 25.
Yeah, no, right? Yeah. But yeah, so my visa my green card. I kind of told myself that if I got to the 10-year renewal mark, then I figured I was here for the long haul and I would become a citizen. So,
Do you think you'll stay here?
For now,
In the United States?
For now,
Yeah.
I mean, I have no imminent plans to leave.
Yeah. You don't have like a fantasy about where you're going to retire or anything? Like if it'll be back home or here or
No,
Colombia?
no, maybe. Have you seen Shakira?
Yes, I have.
Those hips don't lie, so we can maybe go check out some. And I do like empanadas. They're Colombian, right?
I don't think so.
Well, there's a Colombian fusion place on Webster that sells empanadas. Maybe that's the fusion part.
Maybe.
Maybe arepas.
I think that all Latin cultures have something akin to an empanada.
Great. Anything
imagine.
wrapped in pastry and
Yes.
fried or baked is fine with me.
Oh, I should make pastelitos for you.
Yes, please.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Right
I'm going to make you shepherd's pie for you still. I've got to do that.
Yes, that's right. That's what we were going to make.
We'll make shepherd's pie, yeah.
Yes, that's what we'll make on part 2.
Yeah,
The video
okay.
part.
Yeah, cool. I'm going to do shepherd's pie. Oh, yeah.
So what do you miss most about there?
There are some cultural things I miss.
That's what I'm at, yeah.
So, like, for example, pubs, which I know sounds weird because...
Doesn't sound weird. I've been to pubs there.
Oh, well, thank you.
They're
You
freaking
understand,
great.
right?
Yeah.
And, like, the pub has forever been the epicenter of culture in the UK, right? For better or for worse, unfortunately, sometimes. But, like, you know, the pub it's the meeting place, the gathering place. You should pop in for a couple of pints with your mates. Yeah, yeah. You know, you go and have a family meal at a nice pub. You sit in the beer garden on a good day. And because back in the day they used to use canals to transport goods around England, chances are you're going to find a nice canal side pub to sit by on a nice afternoon. So kind of that social aspect, cultural aspect.
Is that why you hang out at the fireside so much? It's your local pub?
It's also, it is my local. It's my local, yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I guess technically 1400's marginally closer.
I have never... Oh, you mean distance-wise to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but...
Yeah.
I prefer fireside.
Yeah. Well, it's owned by a particularly phenomenal woman.
It is. It is.
Sandy
Absolutely. Shout out to Sandy.
Shout out to Sandy.
But no, fireside's great. But yeah, and then I do miss. Strangely, I do miss a lot of the food. So I was going back to people.
Well, it's what you grew up with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I am reminded every time I go back how unhealthy a lot of the food is.
Yeah.
But I mean, you get that everywhere. So.
Yeah, when I travel back to the Dominican Republic, it's all very, it's very heavy carb based.
Yeah, because
so it's like I just long for a fucking salad
Yeah,
while I'm there.
yeah,
It's like you
yeah,
come back to
yeah.
California, it's like all I want to eat are vegetables.
Yeah, yeah. It's because you gravitate towards like the comfort food
Yeah.
aspect of it.
Yeah.
So, excuse me, I'll eat a lot, and I eat a lot of bacon. Because the bacon is different in the UK.
Really? In
Yeah.
what way? Thicker?
It's a different cut. It's a different cut. So
Really?
yeah.
Where's bacon cut from in the United States?
So
Is that a flank?
you use the belly, pork belly.
The belly?
Yeah.
Oh,
And we use the loin.
okay.
So it's like the medallions part.
Yes.
Or the little streaky tail.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it's cured differently.
Is it like Canadian bacon?
It's
Maybe that's where they get it.
It's a similar style to Canadian bacon. That's the
Okay.
kind of one of the closest things that you would probably
Yeah.
equate to.
Yeah, like the kind of that you would put in an Eggs Benedict.
Yeah. Like similar but better. Mm-hmm. So I love bacon. And then full English breakfast, love it. Roast dinners, kebabs, curries.
So when you say
foods.
roast dinner, like a
Yeah.
roast chicken, and what else comes with it
Oh,
normally?
yeah, all the trimmings. Like, so a proper roast dinner. So it's traditional in the UK on a Sunday to have a big roast dinner. And so you'll have a roast joint, a joint of meat. So it could be a roast chicken, it could be a joint of lamb, a joint of beef, a joint of pork, turkey, a big gammon ham, and then all the trimmings. So usually
Potatoes.
roast potatoes, mashed potatoes, carrots, roast parsnips, peas, cauliflower cheese, butternut squash, like any kind of veggies that you really want.
Nice.
Yorkshire pudding, key,
there it is.
stuffing, and then lashings of delicious gravy. And then there are various sauces depending what meat you have. So lamb lovers might want a bit of a
yum.
mint sauce on there, which I don't like
I
myself.
don't like
but,
that either.
Yeah, but some people do. So, have at it. Bit of cranberry sauce for your turkey,
Yum.
as is traditional
Yeah.
at Thanksgiving, of course. And I'm talking real cranberry sauce, not this like
No.
ocean spray out of a can.
No. Ugh. And
Yeah,
the,
I mean
mold.
that has its place. That has its place. I
It
will
does
say,
on a sandwich.
on a sandwich. Yeah, like the 9 p.m. Thanksgiving night when you're like, I've been eating all day, but now I'm hungry again.
Exactly.
Make yourself a little turkey cranberry sandwich.
After your turkey nap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, eating more of that tryptophan, please.
Yes.
Or whatever it's called.
It is tryptophan.
It is
I think so. Yeah.
more
Tryptophan.
More of that happy turkey chemical, please.
Turkemel. Fuck, I had another question about that.
About tryptophan.
Oh, no, what you miss about, and you said the food.
Oh yeah. So like
but
the
pubs.
the food, the pubs, and then just like I don't know, it's just kind of that feeling of like from the familiarity with like this is where this is where I'm from. Like
Yeah.
this is where I grew up.
Home.
Home, yeah. Which also helps remind me why I don't live there anymore.
Tell me about that.
Well, I don't know. I go over and I'm like, obviously, go to see family, and I like the pubs and the food and some of the cultural elements, British TV, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then also, it's just like I don't. This isn't my. It's almost like this isn't my place anymore.
Yeah. You
Like,
moved on.
I moved on.
Yeah, that's how I feel about South Dakota.
Yeah. And it's not to say I'll never go back, and it's not to say that I don't love the UK, because of course I
Right.
do.
Yeah.
It's just I'm like, I actually really like living in California.
Yeah. What were you looking for when you decided to move here to the United States that you felt like was missing out of your life? Was that part of it, or was it purely
No.
because of the
It was purely
the girl?
It was purely for Simona. I actually didn't want to leave the UK
Oh,
initially.
well, your alternative was Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, well, you say that with a little bit of judgment there, didn't
I
you?
lived in the South
Yeah.
for a year and a half. But I have heard that Atlanta is better than where I lived, which was Tupelo, Mississippi, and then Memphis, Tennessee for a bit.
I actually really like Memphis, but I never lived there. I only ever went there for trips.
I was there for school. And
Oh, no.
no.
Okay. Well, this is about
My
me,
jam.
so...
Yes, it is about
yeah,
you.
Thanks. Stop stealing my limelight. Jeez. I'm the guest star. Thank you very much.
Da, 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 da.
We'll
What
get
were you
back to Atlanta. I liked Atlanta. It took
Yeah.
me a long time to settle, but I liked Atlanta, and I got a lot of love for the city. So, yeah, shout out to the ATL. But no, it was Simona didn't want to move to the UK initially, so I was like, okay, well, I'll move to the States.
Do you feel like there was something missing from your life experience that you were searching for that you couldn't find in the UK, or?
I really don't think it was that deep.
Yeah.
It was
just migration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I wanted to be with this woman, so I
And
moved over.
A change. And just a change, an exciting change.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I really, really struggled to settle when I first moved over.
Yeah?
My first year, I would say, was really, really difficult.
In what manner?
It was hard to, because it was really hard to leave everyone and everything behind.
Right.
You know, and it's not like, oh, I'm leaving my hometown and moving 2 hours up the road, right?
You're leaving a culture.
Leaving a culture, yeah. And, you know, trying to settle in, and then there's all the can't work initially for a period while you're waiting around. So it's like, there's that, okay, now I've left everyone and everything, and now I'm just like sitting around by myself, feeling useless.
Yeah.
Don't have any friends.
Exactly.
I don't have a soccer team. I don't I don't have anything. And it just I felt, whilst I am incredibly grateful to my ex-wife and her family, who were all amazing, it's still, I still just felt very lonely and isolated.
I think that's a common story for a lot of immigrants that, you know, their home is obviously all they know. And I think it's a big culture shock. And I'm thinking of Latinos in particular. You know, with them, there's a language difference.
Sure.
So that's huge. But I'm sure that there were a lot of sayings and stuff like that you had to like go, what?
Oh, yeah, no, I couldn't order the drive-through. Like, they couldn't understand me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The number of times my wife would have to lean across and order on our behalf. Ridiculous.
But we have tried to get you to do a Midwestern accent. Do you remember that?
No.
No, that's because it was one night at karaoke. And
there we go.
There it is.
There we go.
Yeah.
Midwestern accent, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, now I vaguely remember that. Oh, yeah, Dave.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Close.
I'll work on it. I'll work on it for next time.
Good. So what is it that you like about the U.S. better, or not better? What's different here that you really love that you...
So people ask me this question quite a lot.
Oh.
And it's really hard to answer because, like, it's not that cut and dry, right? It's like, I don't know, let's say you're looking at houses, right? And you might be like, oh, I like this one because the kitchen is bigger, or like this one because the layout is more open compared to that one. Like,
Right.
you can find specific things that you like, one versus the other, and it's difficult to do that, for at least for me, in comparing the UK to the US, because it's more of a feeling than it is like an identifiable thing.
What about like political climate and stuff like that?
I really do not want to talk about politics.
Okay,
today.
I don't really either, but but I mean, by that I mean, is it the liberal here and I almost used the word catastrophic, but
Right? Yeah.
Conservatism is very polarized. What is it like in the UK?
So it's there are there are similar ideals along party lines, right? But the UK, at least right now, is nowhere near as polarized as the US.
Right.
Which
I don't think a
I
lot
don't
of
think
places.
I don't think I don't think anyone can get any more polarized than the US is right now.
I know.
The it's like I would say like UK politics is probably akin to like probably like during I would say when Obama and McCain were up for election, right? Obviously there's you still have your party views, but it wasn't at each other's throats like all the
Right.
time. And of course, President Obama got a lot of hate from the right for various reasons that we won't go into. But like there was still civil discourse, right? It was able to
Right.
get stuff done, and there's still mudslinging from both sides. But
But there was
it's
still
it's
a working together
there's still
in
what you
some
said
way.
to
Well,
working together.
more so than now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So also it's not just a two-party system in the UK, although there are the two main parties. It's not just a two-party system. The politics is like the political structure is a bit different. But yeah, there's still a lot of the same concerns and social issues, right? Like economy, cost of living,
Right. Global warming.
global climate change,
Yeah.
and then just immigration, all the Brexit stuff. I could go on. So there are a lot of there are a lot of similarities. I think, just because that's the nature of living in a first world country,
Yep. Exactly.
if that's the right term.
First world problems.
Yeah, first world problems. Yeah.
So, are you glad that you came to the U.S. or it
Yeah.
seems like it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still here,
Yeah.
and I chose to become a citizen. Like,
Yeah.
this is home now, right? Like,
Right. Alameda in particular, California in particular, or U.S.?
well, all three. Like,
Yeah.
so, like, the U.S. is the U.S. is home. California's home. Alameda's home. Although, maybe after this weekend, I'll be consider myself a Californian over an American because
Right.
whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. So, it's when I go back to the UK, I find myself describing the US as home a lot.
How do they feel about the U.S. right now?
Like the UK as a whole, or my family, or
The UK, I guess. Maybe what's the climate there? I just get the feeling that the whole world is laughing at us, and I don't think that I'm wrong.
I don't think you're wrong either. I think the whole world is laughing at us, and as they should be.
By the way, we are 2 days away from the inauguration.
Yeah, I know. And it's going to be cold, so he has to go inside. You know what I think? I think he's worried about crowd sizes.
Probably.
I don't think it's anything to do with the cold. There have been several other presidents, including President Obama, who,
Oh my gosh, they were bundled.
just wear
Super
a
bundled.
coat.
Yep. Well, they might also be worried about security.
Oh, that's true. But I think it's more crowd sizes.
Yeah.
Plus, there's the whole because President Carter passed away, they're supposed to
Pour
have
one out.
flags at half mast for 30 days.
That's right, and he's pissed about that.
And he's pissed
Trump
about
is
it
pissed
because
about
he's a knob. Sorry, can I say that?
Narcissist. Oh,
He's-
fuck yeah.
He's a
you can say knob.
narcissist. he's a disgusting narcissist. So I think, if he has it in the rotunda, it doesn't matter because you just have the flags on the poles. But I think crowd size. He's just worried about optics and ratings and all his usual narcissistic BS.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving swiftly on.
Yes. Please.
Oh, you mentioned what the UK thinks of us.
Yeah.
I don't know because I don't live there.
Yeah, but you don't hear it from like friends or anything.
No, I
See
mean,
it on the news.
so I do read BBC News, but and there are articles about US politics and all that kind of stuff, and yeah.
Do you get attitude when you go there? About why you left UK and came to this fucking shit show?
Everyone loves it. Everyone thinks it's great. Everyone's fascinated. Yeah, I mean, I live in San Francisco, California.
Right.
Like everyone thinks that's rad.
It is
which
rad.
It is.
It's totally rad.
It's totally rad.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you stopping by the Tradition Cafe.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
And learning about Great Britain and Ireland and Jehovah's Witness, which was really interesting for me to listen to because, like I said, I don't know much about it. And I love the way that your parents did their own spin on a tradition for you and created a tradition unique to your family.
Yeah, that was great. That was...
What was it, Surprise Days?
Like present day.
Present day.
I think we
That's
just used
cute.
to call it present day. Yeah. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me. And if you got any other questions, then write them down and meet me by the shredder.
I shall. Thank you.
Thanks.
My baby got a short neck. She got a real short neck. My baby got a real short neck. She got such a short neck.
I want to thank Mike Strain for joining me on this episode. Tradition Cafe is recorded at the Ducking Brilliant Studio in Alameda, California. This episode is brought to you by the Fireside Lounge, which is also right here in Alameda. Editing by Clay Stiles, music by Jethro Jordan. I'm Anna. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. For more fun content, including podcast and vlog episodes, blog posts, delicious recipes, and entertaining videos, check out traditioncafe.com. See you next time.